Hey, good morning, everybody. Meteorologist Kyle Granger in the WVLT First Alert Newsroom this afternoon, where we are talking about the snow that has been coming down for many of you this morning. We've had light snow flurries, and then we're also going to talk about and focus on some of these temperatures that we have been seeing. Right now, let me take you live to Ober-Gatlinburg. This is the scene in Gatlinburg right now as we have snow that has been coming down in that particular area. Of course, Ober-Gatlinburg wanting to have the snow so that they can get skiing operations in full operation. Of course, today they're working with that 30 to 36 inch base. This is only going to add to that as they move right on through the rest of the day. So that's what's going on in Gatlinburg. No doubt maybe some of you have seen some of those flurries as well. And again, as I said, it just has been very, very, very cold through the course of the morning and will be into the afternoon. Not a lot of opportunity to melt away what we have been able to pick up here over the last 24 hours or so. Let me show you some other video that we have. This is not a live picture, but this is recorded from early this morning. This is in Campbell County. You can see snow-covered hilltops, lawns there, as people have been out and about through the course of the morning hours collecting pictures and images just like this in many locations, not just in Campbell County, but off to the north in the parts of Scott County, Fentress County. Those are the biggest winners, as we've been seeing with some of these snowfall totals that we've had through the course of the last 24 hours, really, when all of this started. You can see this coming from the WVLT drone with these snow-covered hilltops and some streets in Campbell County. We have had reports of being covered there, especially those secondary roads that may not have gotten a full treatment like some of those interstates may have gotten. Here's another look live in Gatlinburg for you. We're looking towards the mountain area where folks ski and tube. You can see the tubing lane's not quite open there. Maybe some folks they're going to come down. There they go, on their way down for the tubing. That looks like some fun winter activities that people are being able to take part in as the snow continues up at Gatlinburg and Ober-Gatlinburg through the course of the morning hours. So let me bring you up to speed on what's going on right now. You see where the biggest winners were as we went forward through the course of the day. Yesterday we did manage to see more of a trace to an inch in Knoxville, just as we experienced and thought would happen. We forecast from Knoxville to Maryville over to Madisonville for this little light trace and light accumulation, and that's exactly what managed to happen. Some of the biggest winners go from Crossville to Jamestown, right along that Tennessee-Kentucky line into Morristown, parts of Dandridge, Newport, Gatlinburg, all dealing with more in terms of snowfall than others at this particular place in time. That's what we've been able to see and what has been accumulating with really just looking at that 2 to 3 inch range for some of the higher hilltops and some remote areas getting into that 3 to 5 through the course of the overnight hours and into the morning. Here's what's been reported from some of you. 8.5 for Elgin. We get into Gatlinburg, looking at that 6 mile range. Oneida at 6, Caryville at 5, Knoxville, even North Knox County reporting that 2 inch range, and Norris at that 1.5 inches. And here's some of the pictures that we have been getting into the WVLT First Alert weather app this morning. This is from Madisonville. Terry Gill sharing this. You can see the snow-covered hillside there and even accumulating in some of the trees. And downtown Knoxville right now, we got a few clouds around, but things have been clearing for us this morning. One thing we have been paying very close attention to are these visibilities. Just really hard to see very far in advance of you if you're under one of these snow flurries or these snow showers that manage to move through. And on top of that, we've had some fog develop, freezing fog in some locations, like over in Crossville, 2.5 mile range for that. Up into Middlesboro, 3 for Morristown. Sevierville checks in at that 4. And temperature-wise, this is what's going to be the story as we move into this afternoon. We're in the 20s now. We're approaching 30 in Knoxville to Alcoa, but we're going to be looking at a cold afternoon. Only going to get just a couple of more degrees here, plus you factor in that wind chill and it takes that bite right out of your skin. Pigeon Forge is at 28 right now. Knoxville to Alcoa at 29. 29 for Oak Ridge, 26 for Wartburg, 25 Crossville. Up into Jamestown, it's 27 Monticello. And this is what it feels like. So it feels even colder in Clark Range. where we're at 12. It feels like 14 in Crossville. It feels like 19 in Knoxville, 17 Cosby to 18 into Talbot. So this will be the story of the day as we move later on into the afternoon. Here's a look at First Alert Live Doppler for you this morning. You can see, just as verifying from those cameras up in Gatlinburg, we do have snow that is falling for interior sections of Sevier County out towards Pigeon Forge and Dollywood this morning, taking a little longer time to get open for those year-round employees. You see here Tazewell over to Sneedville, seeing this morning with these snow bands that are moving through. And here's a closer inspection into Gatlinburg and Pittman Center up to Pigeon Forge, Dollywood, Wares Valley. Things will end for you here in the next little while. In fact, while I'm zoomed in here, I'll take you back to Gatlinburg, and this is downtown Gatlinburg. From the Mountain Mall, you're looking at Parkway. You've got the flurries and the snow showers that are moving around, but traffic is managing to move very nicely in downtown Gatlinburg. They're kind of built for this. They have all of that equipment and things that they need to keep that mountain town going, because they are used to this. We move closer into Dandridge, and that is where we are looking at this band that is moving through your neck of the woods as well. We've been watching through the course of the morning hours, just off and on flurries and activity that has been happening for much of the morning hours, and really has kind of found a home into the Dandridge area over the last little while, with just a couple of tenths of an inch, if you will, that have been managing to develop back onto the roadways and onto the surfaces of some of those grassy hilltops, maybe some of those colder surfaces that have been managed to stay colder for a longer period over the last little while. Of course, many of you may be waking up to your cars where you've had to do a little bit more to get the ice off of there this morning. In fact, I'm going to take you in and show you a closer inspection of Interstate 40 in Jefferson County right now at this particular place in time. The interstates are looking pretty good right now. You can see Interstate 40 moving very nicely. This is Deep Springs, the 412 mile marker in Jefferson County this afternoon, as we continue to have, you can see there just a couple of those flurries that are continuing in that neighborhood as well. So back up into parts of Sharps Chapel over the Mossy Spring, a few flurries for you this morning as we continue to see all of this move through. The biggest story, as I said, is going to be just how cold it is as we move right on into the afternoon. Not going to be doing much, but getting closer to that 34-degree range with a few of these flurries staying around. So what is on the ground will not be melting away anytime soon. You do see another band that's going to move through parts of Hawkins County over the next little while. We'll keep these flurries in the forecast with us for much of the day today. So your forecast for today is going to look a lot like this. We're looking at a few flurries still with us around Gatlinburg. That's good for over Gatlinburg once again, and a few flurries into Jamestown over to Crossville. Not going to be adding much in terms of those accumulations. 1 o'clock in the afternoon, the same story. Look at this. We're staying cloudy, so not a lot of sunshine that we're going to be able to build in here for the afternoon. So not a lot of melting, as I said, is going to be happening, and we're cold overnight tonight as well. So the forecast where you live looks a lot like this: about 34 Knoxville to Kingston. How about 33 Pigeon Forge to 34 Madisonville, Sweetwater 29 into Crossville, Jamestown, Oneida 31 for La Follette, moving into Williamsburg at 31, Middlesboro. How about 30 for Tazewell to 32 for Maynardville. Dandridge, you're at 32 degrees. My friends in Newport, you're going to be closer to 33 for the afternoon. Now, overnight tonight, it's going to feel like we're in the teens and 20s once again. Nonetheless, a few flurries will linger with us, but it is going to be clearing as we have a clearer day coming up on Tuesday. I'll walk you through Tuesday very quickly, but notice that we are staying cold. We've got the clouds. We break away and get the sunshine working its way for the middle part of the day, having our lunch. We're getting into the evening, trying to say, let's warm up a little bit. We're only going to get into the mid-40s for the afternoon coming up on Tuesday. So not a lot of progress there either. Well, let me walk you through Wednesday. While I got you here, we not only have the potential for cold air that's with us today and tomorrow, but then coming up on Wednesday, we warm up a little bit, but then here comes the next front that's going to bring us some rain. You see here, starting at 5 o'clock in the afternoon, all of us dealing with scattered rain, moving into the 8 o'clock hour as well. The cold air catches up as we get past midnight into the early morning hours of Thursday, and then Thursday morning, we wake up once again, much like today, with scattered snow showers and bands of opportunity brace for snow that will be moving through the early morning hours of Thursday. So one of those days that we have to watch once again for our morning commute and see what's happening, especially onto the sides and the shoulders of the roadway. I mentioned my car. It took a little bit of time to get it started this morning. We got it going and we got everything melted away, and then we had some patches of ice that were on some locations. The interstates, Chapman Highway, parts of Seymour where I was at this morning looking pretty good, but you had those sidewalks. I walked right out of the house, right into a patch of ice. I did a little slipperoo and forgot all about it. I know I have to pay attention to that, but did a little slip, didn't have a fall, but I want you to make sure you're paying attention to that, not only tonight, but first thing tomorrow morning as well. So let me take you around and show you what's going on with some of the area roadways. This is the road weather index. We still have those snow flurries that are falling around Sevier County, parts of Jefferson County, up to Tazewell as well. The fog is doing a lot better for parts of the area this morning. We zoom in a little bit closer and show you not a lot of slowdowns right now for parts of Knoxville. Down to the south, we move into Maryville, maybe in and around the main part of the city of Maryville and Alcoa. We move into Sevier County, some slowdowns on the Parkway, out towards Pittman Center. Nonetheless, that's where these snow bands are right now, so no doubt slowing down people who may be trying to move in and around Pittman Center. This is the time of the morning a lot of folks are going to be showing up for work in Sevier County who have the middle part of the day. Maybe the lunch rush hour is about to get started, and then back up at Halls, Fountain City 75 is nice and clear at this time. We'll take you around to a couple of the TDOT cameras. You can see those reduced visibilities we've been talking about. This is I-40 out at the Watt Road. You can see here's Cherokee Trail at Alcoa Highway. We've got some icing on the sides of the roadways, but TDOT done a very nice job here keeping most everything nice and clear. You can see some of those areas just off of Merchants, 75 and Merchants, and then moving into 17th Street right in the downtown area of Interstate 40 as it crosses into downtown Knoxville. Cars are moving along very nicely. And other areas, this is east at Rome County. You can see quite a bit of snow that has fallen in your neighborhood this morning with the treetops as well covered. This is back out at I-40, Sevier County, west of the Winfield Dunn Parkway. If that camera manages to come up this morning, we would see basically the same thing. And we took you into Jefferson County just a little bit earlier. We can see things are moving along on the eastern side of Interstate 40. This is just before that 81 split as we start to move into Greene County this morning. And again, our Ashley Bowley is up in Campbell County. She's checking on road conditions there, and what they were reporting back to us is that we had some secondary roads that were a bit on the slick side, but most of the main thoroughfares were doing okay. Let me take you to her right now so you can see what her reporting is like.
We still have a little bit of snowfall happening right now in Campbell County. We're off of Pinecrest Road, where this road looks to be treated a little bit, but it's a long one that goes all the way out to Norris Lake. We're told that there are about 16 road crews from the road superintendent working on these back roads like this one all across the county right now. The main roads look to be okay, but it's these back roads you have to be careful about. I think what the major problem is that this new light fluffy snow is on top, but underneath when you dig down, it's because it's so cold outside, you can see that there's like harder ice crystals forming because it's not getting above freezing temperature. So those are the things that people have to be careful about when you're out and about. So TDOT and other road crews are recommending, if you don't have anywhere you need to be, just to go on and stay inside, stay safe, unless you have to be out in this type of weather, because the roads still slick in a lot of places, including these back roads like Pinecrest and other roads across Campbell County, and maybe where you are too. For now, in Campbell County, Ashley Bowley, WVLT News.
Ashley, thank you very much. One more live look of Interstate 40 east of the split at I-81. You can see there traffic moving. We do have some areas there. They still are dealing with the flurries that are moving through at this particular place in time as that area of low pressure rotates off to the north and east here over the next little while. And you can see this particular area of Interstate 81 having a little bit of icing over on the sides of the roadways, but traffic at this particular place in time does appear to be moving just fine. One more live look over in Gatlinburg right right now, the snow continues to fall up at Ober-Gatlinburg. Another line of racers coming down to Tubing Park. We'll see if we can get the countdown going for them and check them out playing in the snow. No doubt a lot of you may want to do that, as we have those businesses and those schools that are closed today already for the holiday, but nonetheless will be closed for a little bit longer here today. Maybe some of you who thought you would have to go. One lone person went on down. Anyway, some of you thought maybe you had to go to work and then you don't. You see all of those closings that we have, like Hamilton County schools, that are at the bottom of your screen there. All that's going to be rotating through so you can see what's going on and what has been reported into the WVLT newsroom. So there's the snow falling. You see the mountain coaster there. Kind of interesting to see all that snowfall, and Ober actually in business. Here's live radar for you this morning. Once again, taking you in Tazewell over the Sneedville. We've got Morristown, parts of Granger County, with these flurries that we're seeing. It's a little higher when you get into Ober-Gatlinburg. Of course, they love the snow there. And then we move in a little bit closer and show you what's going on. From Dollywood to Pigeon Forge over to Pittman Center, a few flurries still going. We're going to collect maybe another 1/10 of an inch or so. Not going to be a whole lot. It's not going to add much into the buckets this morning, but nonetheless will be an opportunity for some collection of snow, but won't be all that a big deal as we move forward from Pittman Center, maybe in the Jones Cove, over to English Mountain, folks in Wares Valley, Pine Mountain Road. You're going to be seeing all of that through the course of the morning hours as well. We move in a little bit closer and show you what's going on in the Dandridge area. This is the I-40-81 split that we were just showing you that live TDOT camera of over the last little while. You can see from Dandridge over to Lakeview Park. This is down Highway 92 as you get off of the interstate there, heading up into Flat Gap as well. I wanted to take you in and show you one more camera that we have. This is over into western North Carolina. A lot of you are always traveling into North Carolina, maybe doing back and forth there. Reminder, Great Smoky Mountains National Park, Newfound Gap Road is closed. This is just east of the tunnel on I-40 from North Carolina Department of Transportation cameras, and you can see here roadways looking pretty good, but they have had that icing on the sides of the roadways, just like we've had here, as that system managed to rotate its way through. So many of the North Carolina roads reporting similar situations, but again, we do have some weather events for those of you maybe heading into Transylvania County. It is Highway 276 at 280, which is closed in both directions. That is in Brevard, so some travel in western North Carolina going to be just a little more limited for you here today, maybe not quite as much as we have here into Tennessee. So from Mossy Springs over to Sharps Chapel, Big Barren, Lone Mountain, Elm Springs, Washburn, that's where we've got a few flurries. They continue to move around for us here today, and we're moving right along into what's going on back into Gatlinburg, where it's a little heavier, especially up at Ober-Gatlinburg, where they're looking for that. And this is the big story of the day today. It feels like 16 in Monticello, 17 Stearns. It feels like 19 into Huntsville. Knoxville at 19. We move into the afternoon. We only get to about 34 degrees, and it's going to feel like we're in the 20s still. So make sure you've got those layers. It only takes just a little bit for hypothermia to start to kick in here when you're talking about temperatures that are this cold. And for those of you who work outside, it lasts longer and longer and longer. You know, it really wears on you. You need to make sure you're drinking plenty of fluids and keep staying hydrated and staying up to date on all of that. So that is what's going on through much of the area. The biggest concern for the rest of this afternoon is going to be these temperatures. We stay cold overnight tonight and right on into the start of the day coming up on Tuesday as well. Not doing much progress, just a little bit warmer. So what we have on the ground is going to stay there, and then overnight tonight, watch for any slips and falls and anything of that nature. If you're trying to walk around any of the sidewalks or anything at your house when you get home this afternoon, just remember you could have a thin sheet of ice that is there. I've had one report that the bridge at Knife Works in Sevier County does have a little sheet of ice on the right-hand side of the road. So make sure that you are paying close attention, especially to those bridges and overpasses. Remember, you got air flowing underneath, air flowing above. It's all freezing, and that just freezes that surface and makes that concrete that much colder. If you're on the ground, the asphalt in a that's attached to the ground, it's got more warmth that's already been absorbed by the earth. But you don't have that blanket, if you will, with you when you get into those bridges and overpasses. So that's why they have the opportunity to ice just a little bit more, especially where things may not have been cleared away. One more look over in Roane County, I-40 East. You can see there the traffic that is moving for the TDOT SmartWay cameras. And of course, folks continuing to enjoy Ober-Gatlinburg here this afternoon as the snow continues there. This kind of tells the story. If you get under one of these bands, kind of hard to see off in the distance at times through the course of the day today. So I'm meteorologist Kyle Granger in the WVLT First Alert Newsroom this afternoon, and we'll continue to be back here live at noon with more information. And of course, again, the biggest thing I'm concerned about is just how cold it's going to be later on this afternoon and overnight tonight. I hope you have a great day, and I'll see you soon.